6 p.m. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister says the Hindu supremacism being pursued by the Modi regime believes in ethnic cleansing of Muslims in India. The Foreign Minister has said the life and honor of Kashmiris is at risk because of the lockdown and unilateral steps taken by India to change the status of the held territory. The Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on Information has urged the international community to play its role in stopping the Kashmiris' genocide by India. American Senator and Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders, expressing deep concern over the explosive situation in occupied Kashmir, has sought an immediate end to the ongoing communications blockade. China and the United States have begun imposing additional tariffs on each other's goods despite signals about resumption of talks. 9 people were killed as security forces repulsed Taliban attack in Baghlan, Afghanistan. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan has warned that India has been taken over by extremist Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh ideology, which might have serious repercussions on regional peace. Addressing the Islamic Society of North America in Houston, Texas, via video call, the Prime Minister said the current Indian regime is a staunch follower of RSS, an ideology born out of hatred and Hindu supremacy. This ideology believes that Hindus are superior to all other nationalities in India, and the followers of other religions should either leave the country or convert to Hinduism. This violent ideology believes in ethnic cleansing of Muslims in India. The Prime Minister said the same philosophy led to carnage of Muslims in the Indian state of Gujarat earlier. It is also responsible of lynching of Muslims on slaughtering and eating of beef. He said right now 1.9 million Muslims of Assam are on the verge of losing their Indian citizenship. It is the same ideology that has put around 9 million Muslims under curfew for the last 28 days in Kashmir. He said Kashmir is a disputed territory and its future is to be decided by a plebiscite of its people. He said India tried to change the status of Kashmir by violating the relevant United Nations resolutions. The Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says ensuring protection of the life and property of minorities is the responsibility of the government. Talking to the media in Karachi this afternoon, he said all Pakistanis belonging to various beliefs and religions are respectable for the government. He said work is in progress at the Kartarpur corridor and more than 80% work has already been completed. Pakistan will welcome the Sikh community on the birth anniversary celebrations of Baba Guru Nanak. Referring to the situation in occupied Kashmir, he said the life and honor of Kashmiris is at risk after the unilateral steps taken by India to change the status of the held territory. He said innocent people of Kashmir are being tortured by the Indian security forces and the whole area has been locked down. He said freedom of press and civic liberties have totally been trampled down in the area. Shah Mahmood Qureshi expressed optimism that international community will take notice of the situation and will raise its voice. Speaking in a program of Radio Pakistan's News and Current Affairs channel over telephone today, the Foreign Minister said Prime Minister's address to the Islamic Society of North America is a message to the Muslim world to wake up and break its silence over human rights abuses of oppressed Kashmiris. He said the Prime Minister in his address made it clear that if the Organization of Islamic Cooperation does not act vibrantly, it will force Muslims to lose faith in this organization. The Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on Information and Broadcasting, Dr. Firdaus Ashik Awan, has urged the international community to play its role in stopping the genocide of Kashmiris. Addressing media persons in Sialkot today, she said India has made Kashmiris hostage by deploying 900,000 troops in occupied Kashmir and basic rights are being denied to them. She said ideological and geographical boundaries of Pakistan are being attacked now. Referring to the Prime Minister's address to the Muslim community of North America, she said the Prime Minister has become the ambassador of Kashmiris and he's conveying the message all over the world. Dr. Firdaus Ashikawan said Narendra Modi is playing with the peace of the region. New Delhi-based newspaper The Indian Express says Kashmir problem is becoming a bigger headache for India due to the increasing reports of violence by the Indian military in the territory. In an opinion piece, the paper notes that incidents of torture and violence taking place in Kashmir are a terrible mistake on the part of the Indian authorities. The paper raises the question that how long can this lockdown and communications blackout be sustained? It says Prime Minister Narendra Modi must know that in the presence of a violent military crackdown, there is absolutely no chance of winning the peace. This is Radio Pakistan. American Senator and Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders has expressed deep concern over the situation in Indian-occupied Kashmir. Addressing a gathering in Houston city of Texas state, he sought an immediate end to the ongoing communications blockade in the occupied territory. Terming India's action in occupied Kashmir as unacceptable, Bernie Sanders said India has denied the Kashmiri people access to basic health facilities. He urged the current American government to speak out boldly in support of a UN-backed peaceful resolution of the Kashmir dispute. China and the United States have begun imposing additional tariffs on each other's goods despite signals that talks over trade war may resume this month. In the latest escalation of trade war between the two countries, new round of tariffs took effect today when the United States levied 15% tariffs on Chinese goods, including smart speakers, Bluetooth headphones, and many types of footwear, whereas China levied 5% on American crude oil. The extra 5% and 10% tariffs by China have been levied on 1,717 items out of a total 5,078 originating from the United States, while additional tariffs will be collected on the rest of the items from December this year. In Afghanistan, at least 9 people were killed and 27 others wounded as security forces repulsed attacks by the Taliban in Bulletin city of Baghlan province. According to Afghan Interior Ministry, the clashes erupted after the Taliban carried out attacks on positions of the security forces in 2 different localities of Bulletin. The attacks came just as Kunduz had returned to calm after intense fighting that led to killing of 38 militants. Meanwhile, 20 civilians were killed in 2 separate incidents in Balkh and Faryab provinces. 8 people were killed when a roadside bomb went off in Balkh, while 12 were killed in airstrikes in the Faryab province. Myanmar will court-martial its soldiers after a new finding into atrocities in Rakhine State found that the 2017 army-led campaign that resulted in the killing of hundreds of thousands of Rohingya Muslims was executed with genocidal intent. The finding has been made by a military court formed in March this year by the United Nations and other world rights bodies to probe into accusations of mass killings, rape and arson of Rohingya Muslims in Rakhine State by the Myanmar army. Last year, another finding by the United Nations had recommended charging Myanmar's army chief and 5 of the generals with gravest crimes under international law. Meanwhile, the International Criminal Court has opened a preliminary examination into the violence in the Rakhine State, on which a panel including Filipino and Japanese diplomats is due to publish its findings. And finally, the weather. Rain, wind, thunderstorm is expected at scattered places in Multan, Dera Ghazi Khan, Bahawalpur, Sakkar, Larkana divisions, while at isolated places in Malakand, Hazara, Peshawar, Kohat, Bannu, Dera Ismail Khan, Rawalpindi, Gujranwala, Lahore, Sargoda, Yob, Kalat, Mirpur Khas, Hyderabad, Karachi divisions, Islamabad, Kashmir, and Gilgit-Baltistan during the next 12 hours. Hot and humid weather is expected in other parts of the country. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link, facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.